If you're going to sit here and now say Varane and Pepe are better than Chiellini, then you don't believe that yourself.
You've only brought up his defensive...
Because that's the most important thing of the game.
He's a centre-back.
Although he is a great player, I think Ramos still clears him in that league.
You got me here defending AC Milan, man.
I'm defending Real Madrid.
La Liga versus Serie A. Some of football's biggest icons have played in Spain and Italy, but which league is better? There's only one way to find out. First up is the first midfielder.
I'm going for Zinedine Zidane.
And I'm going Diego Armando Maradona. Come on, man.
It's unfortunate, brother.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
I think you know Wallace as
that's
well.
hard.
Every tongue must confess, Diego is one of the greatest footballers of all time. So is Zidane.
Yeah.
But I think you're struggling here because Zidane's peak was actually in the Serie A, not even in the La Liga. And Diego's peak was, of course, in the Serie A. Bought Napoli 2 league titles, a team that nobody wanted to play for. It was frowned upon to play for Napoli. He had more than just an impact on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. Arguably the greatest campaign in international history in 1986, dragging Argentina to the World Cup. Many consider him to be the greatest of all time, especially the older generation. My dad is very fixated that Maradona is the GOAT. You can't win this one, I'm afraid.
Before I do what I do, Zinedine Zidane's a top player, one of the best midfielders of all time. That Champions League goal in the final, he did it for France. Unlike, I think Maradona, he only did it in Napoli, you could say club level, at the top level. But Zinedine Zidane was Juventus, Madrid. But I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take the...
Welcome, brother, welcome.
The next position is midfielder.
I'm going to go with Xavi Hernandez.
It's a good shout. I'm going to go with Andrea Pirlo.
I could be convinced, but
Come on, here to start with.
Okay, so I think they both started their careers at practically the same time, right? Mid 1990s up until like 2015. That's when they both.
Very, very
So
similar.
basically, they played at the same time.
Yeah.
Xavi won 2 Euros. He won 2 different trebles. He came as a youngster when Pep Guardiola, he became the main man. He finished in the Ballon d'Or top 3 different times. So basically, we can compare it with Pirlo because they were in the exact same era, like I said.
I mean, Xavi's a top midfielder. If you're talking about Andrea Pirlo, you're looking at a guy that not only revolutionized, in my opinion, the regista role, because he was different to the kind of sixes that we'd seen before. Guys that would break the lines, guys that were technically so gifted. Pirlo was a little bit of a different mold than a destroyer in that position, someone like Makalele at Chelsea or a different kind of six, right? He was elite for the national team, for AC Milan and also Juventus. For the national team, he doesn't have the trophies that Xavi has, but he has the World Cup in 06 like Xavi did in 010. And I would say that in the World Cup run, Pirlo was better in 2006 in that run for Italy than Xavi was for Spain in 2010. If it wasn't for Pirlo, we wouldn't have even qualified into the knockout stages of the tournament. He scored a very important goal to send us there, and his overall performances were elite. I think him and Buffon, as I said earlier, were the 2 best players for Italy. I know Cannavaro got the plaudits and the Ballon d'Or, but I think Pirlo was more important. Then at AC Milan, of course, he won the Champions League twice for them, being an integral part in that midfield, and there was Kaká, there was Seedorf, there was himself, there was Gattuso, so many legendary players. But for me, Pirlo held it all together. Yes, Kaká got the plaudits, aesthetically more pleasing, won the Ballon d'Or, but Pirlo held that together. But I think his most impressive not his best season, but his most impressive, let's say, tenure was at Juventus, because Allegri deemed him too old and not good enough for AC Milan. He goes to Juventus on a free in the summer of 2011. Juventus at this point hadn't won the league since 2006, just came up from the Serie B a few years before. We finished 7th twice back to back. Pirlo wins the league in his first season, going invincible, being arguably the most important part in that team to why we won the league. He won Player of the Season in Italy for 3 years in a row in that period, for a Juventus team that wasn't as good also in that period as Barcelona were. So I think his accolades speak for themselves. We talk about 2 of the best midfielders of all time. I think it's close, but Pirlo is one of my favourite players ever as well.
He won the Champions League with Barcelona in 2008-2009, the assist to Messi in the Champions League final. We all know the iconic header. And then in the Euros 2008, one of Spain's best players. 2010, one of Spain's best players. And then in the 2012 Euros, Spain's best player. If you want to be shameless, 2015 Champions League final, he was the captain of Barcelona. Even though he wasn't playing, he still won the treble. So he won 2 different trebles. Like, he dominated from on the international stage and club level. And if you asked at that time, he was the best midfielder in the world. At the exact same time Pirlo was playing.
Again, I think Pirlo played in worse teams as well. I think Xavi obviously played with that Barcelona team that was unstoppable.
But he made that team. He was one of the main reasons why that team was unstoppable.
But I also feel like if you take him out and you put him in the Juventus team, although Juventus weren't obviously a bad team, I don't think he's the same player that he would be at Barca. Whereas I think Pirlo would step not necessarily up a level, but would still do.
He could play in that Barca team, Pirlo, and you still would have won everything.
Yeah.
But that's all if spots, maybes. So.
Yeah, it is.
Is anyone going to swap?
no.
Wallace has his first player in the 11. The next player is a defender.
I'm arguing the greatest defender of all time, Paolo Maldini at left back.
I'm arguing for Roberto Carlos.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh,
Come on over. Come join us, bro.
Like, none of us watched him, but like everyone talks about him as being the best defender of all time, no matter who they are, where they played.
Yeah.
So there's no arguments from my side. Anybody could have been anybody on that side who would be Maldini all the time.
Yeah. 3 different decades, 2 different positions, arguably the best in both, 1 club, 26 trophies in 25 years. Come on, man. He's arguably the best captain of all time as well, so I think Paolo Maldini is a lock in this team, no debate.
Yeah, that's a blowout.
The next position is goalkeeper.
I've gone with Iker Casillas.
I'm going, of course, Gianluigi Buffon. Come on, man. That's Eduardo.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, very good to see you guys, good to see you.
2008 Euros quarter-final. It was Spain versus Italy. The game ended 0-0. Who was a better keeper? Both came up against each other. Casillas won the game against Buffon.
Okay.
2010 World Cup. The big save you all know about it against Iron Robin. Probably
yeah.
one of the most iconic saves ever in the history. Helped Spain win their first ever World Cup. 2012, they came up against each other again in the Euros final.
Yeah.
Gianluigi Buffon conceded 4. There's one tournament that you can say Gianluigi Buffon was like the best. That was the 2006 World Cup. Iker Casillas did it for 3, and he also did it on a club level as well. He won 3 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid. Gianluigi Buffon had his chances to win the Champions League. 2003 against AC Milan. Dida saved 3 penalties. Buffon saved 1.
Yeah.
He got outshone by Dida.
Not true.
2015 Champions League. Second goal that Barcelona scored. Messi shot it from outside the box. He wasn't even the best of shots. Buffon parried it straight to Luis Suarez, and then that ultimately won the game for Barcelona. So on the biggest of stages, we saw Iker Casillas outperforming Gianluigi Buffon.
When you talk about their head-to-head, Buffon's got a better record than Casillas in general. He's won more games against Casillas than Casillas has won against Buffon.
On the big stages.
Yeah, well, on all stages. When you talk about Champions League, yes, Casillas won 3, but he also played for the most dominant team in Champions League history. Buffon has played for Juventus, which are a massive global club, no denying it, but Real Madrid are better in Europe. When you talk about Champions League, Buffon, he hasn't won it, but he's been incredible. If you talk about longevity, you want to bring up the 2003 Champions League final. Buffon made 1 save in the penalty. Why did it even go to penalties?
I have no clue, but
Do you remember Buffon's save on Inzaghi on the header? Arguably the greatest Champions League save of all time. That was an incredible save that he took us to extra time. It would have never gone there if Inzaghi scored that.
But either way, you lost in.
We still, on pens, without our best player, we're disqualified. When you talk about the 2015 Champions League final, you're talking about the save, the parried save to Suarez.
Yeah.
In that game, yes or no, did he not make one of the best Champions League final saves of all time against Iniesta at the start of the game? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Oh yeah, that was the one where
he
he went down.
Okay, so he did. So on the big stage, Buffon's always been there. When you talk about consistency, no keeper has been at the top of football for as long as Buffon. 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s, even for Parma, when he was 44, dropping a man-of-match performance in the Coppa Italia for a Serie B team against Inter, who were Champions League finalists. This guy here is every keeper's favourite keeper. Most keepers consider him to be the best of all time, including Casillas, who said Buffon's the best. The only thing he doesn't have is a Champions League, but so does R9. He doesn't have one. Ibrahimovic doesn't have one. Club accolades do not matter.
Anyone want to swap?
No.
I'll be honest, it feels like you didn't even want to back.
Yeah, it
Is it because of Real Madrid? Is that why? You didn't want to back him too tough?
I tried my best.
I felt passion here. I didn't feel passion over there.
Okay, it looks like Buffon's in the team. The next position is striker.
I'm going with Luis Suarez.
Yeah, that's cute. I'm going with Ronaldo, the phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I want to know what your reason is.
Well, because he was the best player in the
Yeah,
world.
Yeah, the
Suarez.
best player in the world. But for how long did he do it?
If we concede the longevity point, right, what other points has Suarez got over R9?
He got nearly 60 goals for La Liga whilst he was playing alongside Messi, and he had around 20 to 30 assists. He won the Golden Boot once at Barcelona. He helped us win the Champions League, becoming part of the greatest front 3 of all time, MSN. In his first season, he got 25 goals and 16 assists. He completely joined a new league, other players' time to adapt. He came in straight away, got us the Champions League, and yes, I know the Champions League run after that, he had the away form. But when we're talking about the Champions League, he scored around 26, I think, all time. R9, he only scored 14 in his whole career.
Suarez went into a better Barcelona team than R9 did into an Inter team. That Inter team was not as good as AC Milan, Juventus in the 90s, right? He also played in the best era of the Serie A, and he was by far and away the best player in the world. He won the Ballon d'Or in 1997. R9 is every striker's favourite striker. He's the best striker of all time. He didn't have a flaw to his game. His feet were so good, his knees couldn't keep up with him. When you talk about the two, Suarez is an all-timer striker, there's no denying it. But R9 is the all-timer striker.
Yeah.
So look, he peaked in the Serie A. We're talking about two peaks. You could argue Suarez's peak was 15-16 at Barca or 13-14. Statistically, you'd go 15-16.
Yeah.
Maybe the numbers were better, but there's more to tell than numbers. You have to look at the impact on the pitch, off the pitch. And for me, Ronaldo, the Brazilian, is one of the greatest footballers of all time. So I am definitely not conceding R9 to Suarez here.
When you talk about like R9, bro, you lost your damn mind. You standing there saying Luis Suarez. Are you serious?
Like his world-class numbers alongside it, playmaking if he needed to, he would always get the assist. Everything you wanted from him, he would do. He could be the secondary role as a striker. He could be the main man of a team. He did it for us. And then even after he left Barcelona, when he was washed, he was considered washed. Barcelona kicked him out of the club. He went over to Atletico Madrid in the same league where we won the league. The season before that, he won Atletico Madrid the league all by himself.
Yeah, but R9 won Brazil the World Cup in 02 with half.
But this is only Serie A we're talking about.
Yeah, but I agree, but that's true. That doesn't include in it. But what I'm saying is the point still stands that even after R9 had two major knee injuries, he still won the World Cup in 02 being half fit, bro.
Looks like R9 is in the team. The next position is centre-back.
I'm going with Gerard Pique.
I'm going for Alessandro Nesta.
Yeah. Moral support, man.
This guy.
I'm in for moral support, bro. You've been alone the whole time.
You try and convince us to come over.
Okay. Nesta, how many Champions League did he win?
2.
How many World Cups?
1.
1. He only played in only 2 of the games at the beginning, right?
Yeah, because he was
injured. And he got injured, yeah. So when you talk about Gerard Pique in 2008, Pep Guardiola joined, he had the chance to sign any centre-back in the world. Who did he decide to sign? A 21-year-old from Manchester United.
Okay.
He brought him in, and then ever since 2008, all the way up until 2019, I'd argue, 11 years he was the best centre-back in Spain. I think even personally better than Sergio Ramos. 2008 he won the treble. Like 2010 he was part of the Spain World Cup winnings team, and in 2012 he also won the Euros. So not only was he a monster at the back, he could also find you a goal up top as well.
But on the Champions League wins, Pepe has more Champions League trophies than Nesta. Again, we're doing club accolades compared to club accolades. Alessandro Nesta, for me, I'll be honest, there's some great centre-halves in the 21st century, but for me, Nesta was like the level. He might even be the best, because when you talk about modern day defenders, Nesta was that 25 years ago, before modern day defenders were modern day defenders. This guy had absolutely everything. He was tall, but he was very fast. He's extremely good at reading the game, very strong in the tackle, an intelligent defender, and very technical. There's always that comparison, Maldini and Nesta. I think Maldini came up with a quote, is like, if I go to ground, I've already made a mistake. But I think it's a fake quote, because Maldini was very good in the sliding tackle. But Nesta very rarely needed to go to ground because of his positional awareness, because of his ability to read the game. This guy here was one of the cleanest defenders we've ever seen and will ever see. And yes, he was injured in the 2006 World Cup. But again, bro, if he wasn't injured, Italy would have been even stronger at the back, because we're talking about Alessandro Nesta. He was vital in AC Milan's 2 Champions League title wins. Also, people forget, but he won the league with Lazio, his boyhood club, in 2000s, being an absolute rock at the back. And let me tell you something as well. I think you'll remember this one, Wallace. Against Barcelona, 11-12 season, against Messi, a 38-year-old Alessandro Nesta, way past it, he did pretty well against Messi, which says a lot.
Gerard Pique had to play in a high line, high position. He had way more behind him. He had to not only stop defenders, he had to stop the danger even coming towards him. So I think when you talked about Nesta being a better reader of the game, I think Gerard Pique is way better in terms of that. He had to stop the danger because he had way less people around him. He had way less security. He had to be one step ahead of attackers at all times. If he made one little mistake, that's a goal conceded for him.
But Nesta would have been perfectly fine in that high line, as I said, because of his speed and his reading of the game as well. So Nesta would not have struggled, especially in that period of La Liga, because Nesta played in a more dominant period of Serie A when he was going up against the likes of R9, Del Piero, Trezeguet, Batistuta, all these top level strikers that Pique didn't have to face as often in the La Liga.
I actually do think Pique is, although he is a great player, I think Ramos still clears him in that league. I think I agree with him. He would play perfectly well in today's systems as well. You see someone like Van Dijk who just, again, makes it look effortless. I think it's that type of thing. Whereas Pique, I feel like I've seen Pique get caught out more times than I should do for a top centre-back.
Pique ball playing and actual defending, his slide tackles, in my opinion, is the best ever. The way he could slide tackle.
Best slide tackles ever.
Yeah, he could slide properly.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I came here for I thought maybe you can convince me. You've been alone most of the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
But like, it's been a long day. You've been getting cooked left, right, and centre. You got cooked again, brother. I'm gonna love you, leave you. Leave you, man.
Okay, Nesta's in the team. And if you're loving content like this, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. The next position is forward.
By the way, I'm not using Messi and Ronaldo because it will be an easy clean sweep, but I'm going to be going with Neymar Jr. for it.
And I will be going with Alessandro Del Piero.
Hey, Neymar, man. Go on.
Del Piero was like,
No, Del Piero's a great player, but like,
He's not Neymar.
that's Neymar.
Realistically, it's Neymar, isn't it?
Now, the people watching may know that Neymar is my favourite player ever. So I hate to debate against Neymar, but Del Piero, for me, is the greatest Juventus player of all time, captain, leader, legend. My issue with Neymar here is because we're doing La Liga Serie A. If this was his whole career, would have 2 legs to stand on and it'd be very tough. Yeah. But when you talk about his time at Barcelona, what did he have? 13-14 season, 14-15, 15-16, 16-17. That's only 4 seasons. Yeah. Del Piero spent 99% of his career in the Serie A for Padova, then came to Juventus where he was at the club for well over a decade and he retired out in Sydney. But that's his whole career stretch in the Serie A. In the 90s, I don't know if you know this, but Alessandro Del Piero, specifically in the late 90s, was one of the best footballers in the world. He was right at the top of football with Zidane, his teammate at Juventus, and Ronaldo, the phenomenal at Inter. And there were points in that period from like 96 to like November 98 before he tore his ACL, where he was the best player in the world. When Zidane won the Ballon d'Or in 1998, he won it for his World Cup performances. Of course, he scored a brace in the final, there's no disputing it. But Juventus' best player was not Zinedine Zidane, it was Alessandro Del Piero, who took us to the Champions League final, helped us win the league, and even in that period where stats weren't really looked at as they are now, he had 47 goal contributions in 47 games, which would be raved about nowadays, but back then, nobody really cared. It wasn't really talked about. Del Piero had longevity, he had the prime where he was the best player in the world, and his ACL tear really changed a lot because he had to become more centrally. He lost that burst of pace, but he was still technically so gifted. He was 2-footed. He could play anywhere along the front line. And even in Italy's 2006 World Cup win, we wouldn't have gone to the final if it wasn't for Del Piero's goal against Germany in the semi-final. So he's always been important. He's been incredible. He got a standing ovation at the Bernabeu when he was way past it. He had a great record in big games. Against Madrid, he always scored against them. So for me, Del Piero, when you talk about Serie A Del Piero or La Liga Neymar, it is Serie A Del Piero.
So it's interesting how you bring up the longevity for Del Piero, whereas when it was Ronaldo and Suarez, the longevity wasn't really coming into play. It was the other way around. It was
because R9's peak in Italy was far superior than Suarez's peak.
You always mention it. I saw he scored in every single knockout stage for Barcelona against the Premier League champions, Man City, against the Bundesliga champions, against the Serie A champions, against the French champions. Yeah. He did it against all of them. Even in the 15-16 season, he was incredible for us. Remember when he went bold? Messi got injured.
I remember.
What he was doing there, that flick over against Villarreal, there was stuff we were seeing on the pitch, that 4-0 win against Santiago, in the Santiago Bernabeu against Real Madrid. It wasn't Messi once again, it was him. He was at the heart of it. His assist to Iniesta, he was doing everything. When we're going for peak,
I don't know, because peak Del Piero was the best player in the world, and I understand that Messi and Cristiano weren't playing in that generation, but it was still a tough generation. In the best league in the world, Del Piero played in the peak era of Serie A. In that period, La Liga was good, but it wasn't as good as the Serie A was in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And I think Del Piero, if you talk about his Serie A legacy, he's one of the greatest Serie A players of all time. You ask 50 people who the best Serie A player is ever, a good few will tell you Del Piero. If you ask 50 people who the best La Liga player is, no one's going to say Neymar.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate. Come on, Messi and Ronaldo played there.
Even if you exclude them two, I don't think people will say Neymar.
Okay, does anyone want to swap?
I can't. No, Neymar, man. No.
Neymar is in the team. The next position is midfield.
I'm going with Ronaldinho.
I'm going Michel Platini.
Yeah! Ronaldinho!
Before Zidane, Platini was a Zidane before Zidane. Zidane's idol is Michel Platini. This guy here put France as a footballing nation on the map. Let me tell you something about this guy. He won 3 Ballon d'Ors in a row, 1983, 1984, 1985. He won Juventus the European Cup in 85, scoring the only goal in the final, being the best player of that European Cup campaign. It was before the Champions League became it. But probably the standout for Michel Platini was the 1984 Euros. And when you talk about individual European campaigns, international campaigns, Ronaldinho cannot chat to Platini whatsoever. When you talk about all-timer campaigns, you're putting Platini right up there with Maradona in 86. This guy scored the winner in the opening group game. He scored back-to-back perfect hat-tricks, right foot, left foot headers in the last 2 group games. In the knockout stage, because there were less teams playing in the Euros back then, he scored the equaliser and the winner to send him to the final in extra time. And he also scored the opening goal in the final. He scored 9 goals in that whole tournament, won France the Euros, their first ever major trophy. He is France personified. And when you talk about the best French players of all time, you might say Zidane and Henry because of recency, but Michel Platini is right at the top.
After Johan Cruyff left Barcelona, we looked completely lost. Signings were coming in, managers were coming, Barcelona looked completely lost. We signed him in 2003, and ever since then, we look like a completely different team. And I think he's the main reason why we are the club we are today. One of the main reasons. Because yes, I know Johan Cruyff was there. He made us win our first Champions League. But then we were going on the downhill. Joan Laporta signed him. And then ever since then, he won our second Champions League, 2006. And then he built the pathway to the other players coming in, like your Messis, your Xavis, your Iniestas. And then he made us the club we are.
Inspired a whole generation of people to play football.
You mentioned he was the Zidane before Zidane. Ronaldinho was the Neymar before Neymar.
He was, but so did Platini, inspired millions of people in the 1980s as well. So it's the same thing. They both had a massive impact on and off the pitch. When you talk about the biggest names in the 80s, Platini is right up there. As I said, with Gullit, Van Basten, Maradona, these guys. He was the best player that had ever played the game in the 80s, and he still is considered as the greatest player of all time by a lot of football fans, right?
You know what, I said that any players that I haven't watched, I'm just going to base them off the arguments. And I'm heading over here, my guy.
Okay.
I'm coming over here.
Nice to see you again, Ed.
I like your arguments.
In the 1980s, Platini was one of the best players, but you can use the same argument. In the 2000s, where some of the best players were playing at the time, your Henrys, your R9s, Ronaldinho was up there as one of the best players as well.
But again, Platini played in a harder era of football in terms of his league.
Has Luka convinced anyone else?
You know what? Luka gave us it was very
good
good.
argument.
It was a very good argument. You got Ed to go over there.
That's my guy.
You got
comments. Look, I'm signing with him. I've got ball knowledge too. Yeah, look, I'm signing with him. Signing with your boy.
Okay, Ronaldinho is in the team. The next position is centre back.
I've gone with Sergio Ramos.
And I'm going Giorgio Chiellini. Ramos is not that to the same level as Chiellini. Ramos, his best qualities don't come from the defensive side of the game, and you know this. He has match-winning capabilities because he scored a lot of goals because he was on penalties and a very good penalty taker. He scored clutch goals, 92-48, also the goal in the 2016 UCL final despite being offside, but he came up big with goals from corners. He was also a great leader, definitely a captain that you want in the dressing room, defended his team, but he was very rash, especially in big games against your club. And you definitely don't forget those moments. He had the most red cards in the 21st century, the most yellow cards in the 21st century. This guy here as a pure defender is not as good as Chiellini. When you talk about art of defending, of course you think about Italy, but Chiellini's right at the very top. He loved defending. He put his head where people were scared to put their feet. He was at the top of football for a long time, similar to Ramos. He was at 36. He won the Euros for Italy, captain in Italy to the Euros. Despite him tearing his ACL a season before, he recovered in time just for it. He missed a few games in the Euros because of injuries, but he still turned up in the big games when it mattered.
You pretty much summed up Ramos as a player. Yes, he was a bit rash, but...
A bit?
Yeah.
Bit rash.
Yeah,
Bit?
he was very rash.
Very.
Yeah,
just
but
a tiny
you
bit,
can't undermine his goal-scoring abilities because as a player, that is very important.
Yeah, but we're talking about defending.
We're talking about defending.
Yeah, but he's still a football player, no?
Yeah, this is my centre-back though. I want my centre-back to be good at defending.
Can't a centre-back win you games? He was starting as the captain for the most successful team in Europe for over 15 years. Oh, he's not good enough because he's rash.
No one's saying that.
Yeah, but there was a reason why he started. Chiellini never won a Champions League. He never got. Yeah, but it's the truth. He never won Juventus a Champions League. Sergio Ramos did.
No, but Sergio Ramos did, but
he was in a better team as well.
The goal won it, but look at the team. Look at the team he had around him.
No, because Chiellini never wanted to leave Juventus. Chiellini could have easily played as a centre-back next to Ramos in that team over Varane, over Pepe. And if you're going to sit here and now say Varane and Pepe are better than Chiellini, then you don't believe that yourself.
Ramos, right, has got that match-winning factor and a goal scoring over Chiellini, but in terms of an out-and-out defender, the pure ability to defend, the pure ability to read the game, Chiellini is much better than Ramos.
He was a better ball player.
But that's just a factor of it.
You've only brought up his defensive.
Because that's the most important thing of the game.
And all the other stuff doesn't matter.
No, the other stuff does matter. The other stuff does matter.
Hey, are we surprised?
No, but the other stuff matters, right? But ultimately, if you're picking a team and I'm picking a centre-back, the number one most important thing is how good is he as a defender. The other stuff is an additional bonus.
Chiellini's more intelligent as well. Look at the thing on Saka in the Euros final. Of course.
He just dragged it.
No, I'm not watching that.
He just dragged it.
What did Ramos do in the World Cup final against you lot?
Yeah, but he doesn't. Ramos was doing it. Ramos would do that every week. Every week.
So is that not smart?
That's stupid. They were 4-1 up. It was
Yeah,
over.
he got you guys a red card, no? So you
The game was dead.
Chiellini did
it on Saka when there was 30 minutes of extra time to play.
It doesn't matter.
At Tottenham right now, who would you rather have? Prime Sergio Ramos or prime Chiellini? Let's be honest here, Ed.
It's true, you know, like both our centre-backs are probably, you know, prime Ramos and Chiellini at the moment as it is. But if I had to take one, probably take Ramos.
Hey, you're on that side. That says enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you. There you go, Ed. He's back after switching twice. Welcome back, Ed.
Sergio Ramos is in the team.
Hey, take it.
The next position is midfielder.
I'm going with Andres Iniesta.
I'm going Roberto Baggio.
Let's go here, man. That's my goat Iniesta, man.
Iniesta's an incredible player, no denying it, but Baggio is the greatest Italian footballer of all time. This guy here is the undisputed Italian GOAT. Anyone will tell you. Pep Guardiola himself played with Roberto Baggio at Brescia when he had 4 knee injuries, 4 different surgeries on his knee, had to inject himself before every game, and Pep said that he is the best footballer he's ever played with. And that was Baggio way past his prime. Imagine how good Baggio was in his prime. This guy had match-winning abilities. This guy here, let me tell you a story about Baggio. He signed for Fiorentina when he was 18. At the time, he was the most expensive 18-year-old in football history. I think he signed for like 1.15 million. Very, very little, obviously, in today's market. But before he signed for Fiorentina, he tore his ACL. He completely snapped his knee, and the doctors told him he would never play football again. He recovers, he goes to Fiorentina, he becomes the best player in the league in the early 90s. He's the reason why we didn't beat Argentina in 1990 World Cup, because the manager didn't play him, which to this day is one of the biggest disgraces, let's say, in Italian football history. He became the best player in the league for Fiorentina in an era where Juventus, Inter, AC Milan were all the best teams in the countries. He signed for Juventus. He literally caused riots in the streets of Italy because he joined Juventus. When he did join Juventus, it wasn't Juventus' best period in the sort of like 92, 93, 94, that kind of period, the mid-90s. He won the UEFA Cup, he won the Ballon d'Or in 93, becoming the best footballer in the world. And in 1994, of course, you guys will all talk about the penalty miss in the World Cup, which was very unfortunate. But A, he wasn't the only player to miss in the penalty shootout. And B, the only reason we got to that final was because of Roberto Baggio. Yes, our defense was good with a young Maldini, Baresi, Costa Curta, those guys there. But our attack was heavily reliant on him. He scored in all the knockout stage games. He even took us to the final, and he wasn't even fully fit in the final. And he didn't have the best game because he had a thigh injury from the semi-finals. And he scored the winning goals to take us there. He was the best player in the world, even in 94. And had we won that, he would have won back-to-back Ballon d'Ors, and his career could have been completely different. But he was ridiculed with injuries, but he's still the greatest Italian player of all time. Skillful, great shot, quick, intelligent. He had everything you want in a footballer. So for me, Roberto Baggio, I think, is better than Andres Iniesta.
There's only one player in the history of football to get a man of the match in a Champions League final, Euros final, and World Cup final. That's Andres Iniesta. He scored in the 2010 World Cup final, winning Spain their first ever World Cup. 2009 semi-final. I'm sorry. Stay on my side. He scored against Chelsea. He was built for the big games. In the biggest of moments, in his biggest moment in his career, he finished the chance to win the World Cup with Spain. Roberto Baggio played for one of the most successful international sides of all time. Did he win a World Cup with them?
No. He played for Inter, AC Milan, Juventus, Brescia, Bologna, Fiorentina, all these big rival clubs sort of, and he's adored by all the fan bases now in hindsight. So for me, as a footballer, Roberto Baggio was something different to Iniesta. I love Iniesta, I rate him highly, but for me, Baggio is football. And I think Baggio is a better player, full stop. That's what I would go.
Okay, does anyone want to swap?
I mean, I'm there every single time. This one,
you fought a good argument for Baggio. I agree with what you say.
Iniesta is in the team, and it's 5 from Serie A and 5 from La Liga. The next position is striker.
I'm going for Karim Benzema.
I'm going Marco van Basten. This guy retired at 28 because of his ankle problems. By then, he won 3 Ballon d'Ors, 3 European Golden Boots, I think 2 or 3 Champions Leagues. He won the Euros with Holland, scoring one of the most iconic football goals of all time. This guy was tall, yet very fast, very skillful, could easily play in today's game. He retired at the pinnacle of football. He's most strikers' favourite striker. Henri's idol was Marco van Basten. He played in the peak era of Serie A for AC Milan, creating them into the dynasty that they are. The most dominant period, the prime of AC Milan, came when Van Basten played football. He was the best player in the world for a prolonged period of time, and we didn't even see him arguably reach the peak of his career because of that ankle injuries. If he played in today's generation, he could have easily played longer. He was unfortunate that he played in the 80s and the early 90s. If you're talking about Benzema, he's a great striker, 100%. But was he even the best of the 2010s? Was he even top 3, top 2? Probably not.
Ballon d'Or Benzema.
Ballon d'Or, 1 season. I said Van Basten's got 3. So what are we talking about here?
When I would watch this guy week in, week out, Real Madrid wouldn't even finish top 4 in the league, in my opinion, if it wasn't for him. It wasn't Modric, it wasn't Cruz, it wasn't Sergio Ramos, it was no one. It was Karim Benzema carrying them. He carried them all the way up until 2021 when he had that Ballon d'Or season. In my opinion, that's probably one of the most unanimous Ballon d'Or decisions of all time. Everybody in the world, whether you're a Barcelona fan, Real Madrid fan, anyone, they could all argue that Karim Benzema was the deserved Ballon d'Or winner. What he was doing in every single knockout game against Man City, against Chelsea, PSG in the round of 16. Every big game he turned up for Real Madrid. Even as a Barcelona fan, there are only a few Real Madrid players that I actually enjoyed watching, and Karim Benzema was one of them. He mastered the art of striker.
Van Basten was the original top striker. Even in the 88, 89, that kind of period when Van Basten won back-to-back Ballon d'Ors, you're talking about unanimous Ballon d'Ors. Those were unanimous for Marco Van Basten. He helped AC Milan win the European Cup without losing a single game all the way to the final, dominating teams like Madrid on the way. I think they beat them like 4-0 in the semi-final. They were killing teams. But you got me here defending AC Milan.
I'm defending Real Madrid.
It's true, to be fair.
Look, talk about AC Milan destroying teams. Benzema would single-hand. He scored a hat-trick against PSG in the round of 16. Madrid were out, 2-0 down, out. They're finished.
When you talk about blueprint strikers, R9, Van Basten, these are the first guys you put down on the list. These are the OGs. You can't even tell me that Benzema was the best of his generation. So how are you telling me he's better than Van Basten?
But would Van Basten be the best of his generation
100%.
if he played?
I like the argument as well, because for example, would you, a Barcelona fan, say that Benzema is better striker than Suarez?
No, you wouldn't.
No.
You definitely wouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I believe Suarez is a better striker than Van Basten. So
But you also believe that Suarez was better than R9.
Yeah.
So then what are we doing here?
We're going
in circles then.
Yeah.
So you believe Suarez is the greatest striker of all time?
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Who's the
Suarez is the GOAT.
Yeah.
No, not even close.
Teams then were very defensive. There was a lot less goals than there are now. This is statistically proven. There was a lot less games as well, by the way. And teams were just generally lower blocks. That's it. That's the fact of the matter. And of course, Serie A is known for catenaccio. It's known for its defensive style of play. Van Basten played in the Serie A, so it kind of just goes hand in hand. So the fact that he was winning European Golden Boot, scoring a ridiculous amount of goals in that generation, kind of just proves how good he was at football and how good he was as a striker.
Van Basten is in the 11th, so Serie A wins.
Whey!